There are a lot of people who think they have been training for muscle growth, but all they've been doing is moving a weight from one point to another. There's a big difference between moving these weights and actually training for hypertrophy. If your goal is to build muscle, look thicker, or look more aesthetic, then your goal has to reflect your training. A lot of you do it wrong, and in this video, we're going to break down exactly what you're doing wrong and how to fix it starting today. Let's get into it. Hypertrophy is just a fancy word for muscle growth. Increasing the size of your muscles or increasing the size of the muscle fibers in your muscles is what hypertrophy is all about. This does not include strength, endurance, or anything like that. All we care about is building our muscles, not gaining strength, not gaining stamina, nothing. Even though you do gain a little bit of strength during your muscle training, you don't really maximize your strength gains. What you're trying to maximize is your muscle gains, and that is what we will be doing here today. So if your goal is to look big, then you need to prioritize training in a way that builds you size, not makes you lift numbers. Here's the issue. A lot of people on social media, they've been training for a lot of different stuff. Some train for powerlifting, some are athletes, or some just train for muscle building. A lot of people come across this and they try out their training program. Sometimes they're meant for athletes, sometimes for power builders, but what they don't get is that they're not training for their goals. They're training for the goals that they see on Instagram or TikTok, whatever social media they use. Strength training is all about lifting weights or lifting heavier. Hypertrophy, on the other hand, requires more precise training. You need to train with intention in order to grow muscle and not just build strength. Now we're going to go through 5 key principles for hypertrophy training. The first is mechanical tension. Mechanical tension is probably the most important factor for building muscle. Throughout your whole range of motion, you need to keep a certain type of tension in your muscles for them to grow properly. That means slow, focused reps, not bouncing or swinging the weights in your arms just to get it up. Not that. You need to feel the muscle lengthen when you're doing the decentric movement, and when you do the eccentric movement is the best thing to feel a little bit of squeeze in the muscle that you're working with. Each rep should feel like your muscles are actually working. You should not have any pain, or you should not be doing this with momentum. This is the best for muscle growth. The second principle is something I talk a lot about in this channel. It is progressively overloading. To keep growing, your body needs a reason to adapt. You need to give your muscles or your body a reason to grow and develop. That means increasing the challenge over time for your muscles. This could mean adding more reps to the set or increasing the weight to your set. It just needs to be harder for your muscles to grow. It's not necessary that your strength has to compound every single week. It could just mean slow, sustainable growth. Even small improvements in these will gain you a lot of muscle in a long period of time. The next key principle is mind-muscle connection. This one gets overlooked a lot of the time by a lot of people. But if you don't feel the target muscle working, it's not probably doing the majority of the work. Focus your attention on the muscle you're trying to work. This is something mental. If you're doing preacher curls, you can look at your short head and feel it contract and relax. Just like that. Although it's not as beneficial as most of the science recommendations that you get, such as squeezing your muscles really hard or maybe having the most amount of tension in the stretch position, but this is still something you can experiment with, and you'll probably see a little more gains using this. Next on the list is proper volume. Even though more volume is not always better, you need enough volume. Most people go with 10 to 20 sets per week for each muscle group, but these have to be high quality sets. Put emphasis on the word quality. The sets in which you just go through the motions or just do this, not controlled reps, is not really a valid set. You could just count that as junk volume at this point. Every working set must challenge you for it to be considered a working set. The number of sets you do not matter too much. If you do around 10 or 15 sets, that could be enough for you. But the thing is, it needs to be high quality sets. Now this one is a big one, guys. Fifth principle is proximity to failure. This is huge. A lot of people miss out on a lot of gains because they're not taking their sets to failure or beyond failure or maybe even close to failure. You need to push your sets close to failure or even till failure to stimulate a lot of muscle growth. You don't really need to go to failure every single time, but you do need to keep it to a proximity of about 1 or 2, as in if your failure is at 8 reps, you could do it for 6, 7 or even 5 reps. If you're ending your sets with 5 or even 6 reps in the tank, you're missing out on a lot of gains. You don't always have to go to failure. but you need to reach a point where the last few reps are a grind, not just casual reps. Training for hypertrophy is not really doing the most. It's about doing the best you can. You should start by doing 6 to 10 high quality sets for each muscle group, each workout. You should focus on slow, controlled reps with ideally a deep stretch in your muscle group. You should train with a close proximity to failure, and you should try to improve, or you should aim to do more reps or increase your weights over time. If you take these principles seriously, congratulations, you're not like most of the other people. You actually take your training seriously and are here to improve. Now go ahead and stop lifting the weights and actually start training with intention. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.